Hey guys, good afternoon. This is Jason Flame, host of the Master Motivation Podcast, with my co host today for our Tuesday Thoughts, Mr. Danny Cleary. Our theme for today is the word environment. So, Danny, what are your thoughts when you hear the word environment?
Man, many things, many things. But the reason that this came to mind today is because we've been since we started this new year and our Tuesday thoughts here. We've been trying to find ways to better ourselves and helping people every week. And environment is something I talk about a lot with at work with our young people. And I always tell them that willpower is great, right? Like you can have the desire and the drive and the will to do something, but your environment will destroy your willpower, So if, for instance, you have this drive to not engage in certain activities that maybe are bad for you, or it's a bad habit that you have or something, and you made a decision, you're like, I'm not going to do this for me, but
Hmm.
you continue to hang out in an environment where that's constantly kind of the focus, or that's constantly the uh, glamorized thing that's being done. You sitting there going, well, I'm not going to do it, but I'm surrounding myself with all the with that issue. That's going
Hmm.
to eat you up. You're setting yourself up to fail.
Hmm.
um, so I'm a big proponent in environment is a key to your overall growth and success, and not just in the environment of where you are, but who you are spending that time with. You want to always be spending time with people and doing things that are pushing you towards your goals and the best version of you.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's a big thing.
Yeah, I think of the word when you're talking about this, the word culture. You want to
Mhm.
surround yourself with the culture that drives you to succeed and drives you with support. Um, your one of your goals this year was to gossip less, right?
Right.
And you've been very open about that. And so, if you are spending time with people that are constantly gossiping, you're going to ruin your chances of being successful at that particular resolution, right? And
Right.
so you and I both being in the professional wrestling world, sometimes the culture of
Right.
professional wrestlers is not conducive to certain parts of our life. As a matter of fact,
Right.
you can talk about everything from drugs and alcohol use to uh, just talking about religious values,
Right.
right? And all of that. So and then in the martial arts world, we have the same thing where we could be surrounded by people that talk about, um, they want to do things, but we've always done it this way, so we're going to keep doing it that way, and that's going to stunt growth. So, again, going back to the positive environment, surrounding yourself with the right people, surrounding yourself with the right vibe, surrounding yourself, with people that are successful so that you can be more successful. I
Right.
think this is definitely a great topic today. And by the way, if you're watching live, because I see a couple viewers out there, if you guys have some thoughts on this topic as we're talking about environment, please feel free to comment or ask any questions. But Dan, you were going to say something else.
I was just gonna just also tack on what you were saying, because, like I said, I use this conversation piece a lot with the young people that I work with here at the church, because I tell them all the time, like, a lot of them will come to me with, "Hey, I want to, do better in school. I want to not be part of the party scene that's glamorized for young people, like
Mm-hmm.
and I think that unfortunately sometimes we don't want to talk about that because we don't want to, like, almost admit the reality that, like, right now for young people, like, drugs, alcohol, partying, that is glamorized to them all over, in music, in TV, in everything. Like, that's the social norm. And so I tell them all the time, like, if you surround yourself in that environment, you're like, oh, well, I can go to the party, but, like, I don't have to engage in the stuff. I'm like, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up to fail. Like, you might as well just find other avenues in which to be the person that you're striving to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, always, environment will eat your willpower alive.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I'll say that when we first met, you remember when we first met.
Mhm.
Um, I would go to church and I had been baptized because my daughter was. But
Right.
I always say, and I don't know if you know this, but I have a note in my file of my lists, because I keep lists of everything, of all the people that influence me, and my business coach, my people that are my physical coaches, which you're kind of one of them. But I always considered you like a spiritual mentor, even though you're 20 years younger than me, right? But when we met and I was surrounded by you, because the church was such a big part of your life and what you did, and the fact that you work with my kids through youth groups, um, that environment for me has helped me feel almost accountable, right? I think I used to send you a text and say, hey, I haven't missed a mass in
Yeah.
X number of weeks, right? And I would do
Yeah.
that for a really long time, because I felt like when I was surrounded by you, it drove me to go to mass. It drove me to go to church. It drove me to focus more on my faith, right? And
Absolutely. Well,
and it could work positively or negatively.
we as human beings, I have it for sure. Is we have FOMA, or fear of missing out. So when we, you know what I mean? Like, but if you're, and so like, I always, try to encourage people is, then surround yourself with people who are doing positive things, and
Right.
that's the stuff you don't want to miss out on.
That's right.
And that can be difficult. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago in our first Tuesday thoughts about potential, when I was referring to that rocket. Because and sometimes, and I stole it from that video, or that I watched. I took it from that, and it was that some people in your life, or some situations in your life that you're involved with, are not meant to be there forever. Just like that rocket, and the boosters on the rocket aren't meant to be on the rocket forever. Once it gets to a certain altitude, they fall off. And sometimes, if you're striving to be the best version of you, some things or people in your life are gonna fall off. That's not necessarily always a bad thing.
Hmm.
Sometimes you to get to the altitude that you're trying to get to, where in my, I'll always say, where God is pushing you to, things are gonna change. People are going to fall out of your life. People are going to come into your life. You just never know. But if you don't put yourself in the position, in the environment to succeed, you're only shortchanging yourself.
I love it. Well, this has been a great Tuesday thoughts. What are we at now? I think we've done this several
Uh,
weeks, and number
yeah.
7.
Yeah, I think so.
Someone, yeah, we're doing good. So, guys,
Doing
listen,
good.
we love doing this. We'll be back next Tuesday with more Tuesday thoughts. And just a reminder, check in on Monday and Wednesday for the Master Motivation Podcast, where I'm interviewing leaders and martial artists, authors, speakers, professional wrestlers, you name it. I have our mayor of Moore Park coming up tomorrow, as a matter of fact. And then I'll be back on Thursdays for Thursday Thoughts with Master K, Mr. Kowalczyk out in Littleton, Colorado. And we'll be talking
Awesome.
about some martial arts based information. So, guys, keep tuning in. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's right here at the bottom, youtube.com/at Master Motivation Podcast. Follow me everywhere on social media. And Danny, can they follow you too? Where can they follow you?
Sure. You can follow me on Instagram at Danny Cleary YM. I don't really use it as much anymore. All my social media is all wrestling based. I don't really use my social media for my own personal stuff anymore. But you can add me here on Facebook. That's where this is the extent of my social media use.
And if you're an MPW fan, Millennium Pro Wrestling, and you like to follow it, you can go
There we
check
go.
him out. Danny Cleary, Danny Divine, Millennium Wrestling Academy, and Millennium Pro Wrestling. Anyway, well, lots of commercials at the end here today, but there it is. Guys, we'll see you next Tuesday. Those are your Tuesday thoughts. Thanks again, Danny.
You're welcome. Peace out.
See you guys.